Well, it is Sunday, May 29th, and welcome to Walking Between the Worlds. This is Raven Dana, and I actually just recorded this segment, but it had no sound, so now we're doing it again. I can only mean that it will be better this time around. I'm sorry I have been absent. I was sick for a few days, and I know I promised that the information on the tree class would be up. It will be up tonight. And I was sick again for another few days, and then my friend who also manages my webpage, she was sick, and her whole family has been sick for a month, so we're a little bit behind schedule. I was going to begin today on a 3-part series talking about the visitors and contact between humans and non-human life forms. However, I have received some requests to give some tips and practices for cultivating and developing intuition. So that's what I'm going to do today, and I will do the same next time. I'll give a part B before we enter in the conversation about contact with non-human life forms. So I promise it is coming, but I've had several requests for this information first. So let's enter that conversation together today. First of all, we as human beings have far greater abilities and skills and powers of awareness than we allow ourselves to experience and to tap into. And largely because our minds are so busy, and we have unfortunately come to this place where we have put intellect above and ahead of intuition and instinct, which is a mistake. True intelligence is that place where intuition, instinct, and our intellect all communicate well together. Our intuition is the primary place where we get the messages that come in too quickly for our assessing mind to capture. So our surface mind, our intellect that we hang our hat on like it's yay, it's it, is actually much, much slower than our unconscious mind and the places within our awareness where our intuitive and our instinctive awareness arises. So to tap into and better to better experience and express, to better have an ability to develop our 6th, 7th, 8th senses, it requires that we train our minds to be quiet, right? Which sometimes we know that's difficult because the mind races. It likes to compare and assess and commentaries galore in the background. So we're going to do a couple of practices today that are fundamental to helping you interrupt and quiet the mind so that your intuition can rise and your instinctive awareness can rise. And you might be quiet enough that when it taps you on the shoulder, you pay attention and you listen. So to get to some of the deeper skill levels, some of the places where you can, for example, perceive things that are right now on the very edge of your experience, where you can enter a dream and bring back energy and information, where you can enter other realities consciously and deliberately. To do those things, you have to be able to quiet your thinking, assessing, noisy mind. So that's where we're going to start today. I'm going to give you a 7-breath practice for grounding that will help you cultivate your intuition and your ability to notice. So what we want to be able to do is to get out of our thinking, assessing, analyzing mind long enough to get into the witness chair, the noticing mind. So this first practice is great for that. And it's also good if you're just having a bad day and you want to get out of the panic mode or the anxious mode. It's not like we haven't been having that lately, right? So this is a 7-breath reset. I'm going to do it with you, so don't worry about writing it down. We're going to do it together, and then I will repeat the steps so that if you want to, you can write them down and don't have to come back to the video to practice. Okay, so get comfortable, and on your first breath, breathing in, listen to everything you can hear. And breathing out, expand that listening. Listen. Next breath. Breathing in, notice all that you can see. Just notice. And breathing out, notice all that you can see. Now close your eyes. And breathing in, notice all that you can feel. And breathing out, notice all that you can feel. Leave your eyes closed, and on the next breath, notice your breath as you breathe in and as you breathe out. And again, breath 5, deeply notice all the sensations of breathing as you breathe in and as you breathe out. Now breath 6, ride on the sensation of breathing, rising up with your in-breath to that still point, bringing your attention to the very top of your head. And as you exhale, relax, release down and out through the soles of your feet until you touch the still point at the bottom of the breath. And again, breathing in, rise up above your head. Breathing out, relax all the way down and out the soles of your feet. Okay, allow your eyes to open and just sit in the silence of that moment. Just be still. Good. Now I'll give you those breaths again. Breath number 1, listen. Breath number 2, notice all that you can see. Breath number 3, close your eyes and feel everything you can feel. Breath 4, leaving your eyes closed, notice your breath. Breath 5, again, deeply notice your breath. Breath 6, bring your awareness rising on the inhale to that still point at the top. And as you exhale, breathe down and out through the soles of your feet, touching the still point at the bottom of the exhale. And breath 7, do it again. Rising up on the inhale, touch the still point, breathing down and out through the soles of your feet, touch the still point, then open your eyes and just feel that spaciousness. Now, you might notice that when you practice this, in that space after your 7 breaths where you clear your head, something might arise. You might have an intuition. You might have a memory. You might have a thought. You might have a reminder of something important that needs to be done. You might suddenly think of a friend, and then you might notice they might call you in 15 minutes. So in that space, you're clearing the channel. You're opening the line of communication between your busy surface mind, your daily mind, and the deeper, more powerful, complex, faster, deep mind, where your intuition and your instinct and your subconscious lives. So through our deep mind, we are connected, profoundly connected to each other across time and space, and we are connected to all of nature. So there's a tremendous amount of information and energy that we have access to if we know how to access it. So some of the evidence that we can see of people who are able to work with these deeper levels, I just watched a TV special about people with extraordinary abilities, and there was a guy who could put himself in an ice bath for an extended period of time, and he's had extensive scientific testing done on him, and he runs in the snow, and he does all of these, sits in Arctic weather in just a pair of shorts, and his ability to control, to manage his mind, to get his assessing, fear-based mind out of the way, allows him to tap into these deeper abilities, these skills, and even to the degree where there was a point where he did injure himself a number of years ago, severely got frostbite on one of his feet, and was able to use his skill, his ability, to completely, which is unheard of, heal the frostbite. So again, I'm not suggesting that you go jump into a tub full of ice. I am suggesting that the development of these kinds of skills, the development of communication between your assessing mind and the deep mind, gives you access to things that you have no idea right now what you might be really skilled at. And again, whether you want to soak yourself in an ice bath this is not the conversation. Maybe you have a skill for bringing something back from the dream time. Maybe you have a skill for talking to the dead. Maybe you have a skill for intuiting what's around the corner, what's coming next for you. And I'm also not suggesting that these skills are going to bring you only bad news, which is sometimes what people worry about, right? Oh, am I going to know about people who are dying before they die? Well, possibly, but it's more likely that you're going to have a broader, more well-rounded channel of information that brings all kinds of different things into your awareness that are being filtered toward you for your best interest, right? It's not going to be so much random things as things entering through the filters of your awareness that will call into your conscious scope of noticing things that you otherwise would miss that will benefit you. So you might get lost and suddenly know which way to turn. You might notice a person in a crowd that you haven't seen in a very long time that you'd otherwise not see. And anyway, you get the point. So I would say that this practice is something that you might want to try 2 or 3 times a day. And especially if you find yourself stressful or anxious or sad or angry, you might use this technique also just quiet to get out of your mind and back in your senses. Sometimes this practice can even open up deep levels of awareness where you suddenly have an insight about something that happened or some experience even from years ago, where you suddenly have this intuitive knowing about how that unfolded or what the value was in that thing or something about it that you missed at the time that now you look at and say, how did I not know that happened the way it did? So sometimes these moments of awakening can relieve you of years of stored angst or anxiety or anger or fear about something. So I encourage you to do this practice. The next practice that I'm going to suggest to you is extending your awareness in all directions, using your imagination. Our mind gets us in trouble with our imagination all the time. We borrow trouble from the future. We think about things that could go wrong or might go wrong, right? We do that. So instead of doing that, this is a practice to help you develop your skill of reaching out with your senses in a new way. So to just take a moment every now and then when you're in between thoughts, or again, maybe you're waiting for the microwave to go off because your coffee's in there, or you're sitting on a park bench having a few minutes to yourself, and imagine, just allow your senses to expand as if you yourself are getting larger and expanding in all directions. Just again, you can use your breath, but expanding your awareness, just having that thought, you again are likely to notice, to have thoughts. You might suddenly think of a guy in a blue shirt with a black dog. And maybe 5 minutes later, on the park, walking by your park bench, hey, there's a guy in a blue shirt walking with a black dog. So this is a way of you to discover, a way for you to discover that the access that we have to information is not limited to this cross section of time and space that we're sitting in. This is great for navigating three-dimensional reality. And not that I'm suggesting you lose your sense of three-dimensional reality, but these practices bring information to you that you can then use in a whole new way. Right? Again, what if you were sitting at a stop sign, a stoplight rather, and suddenly you had this feeling in your body to not go as soon as the light changed, right? Just to not go. And maybe in that exact moment somebody comes blasting across from the other direction, and you might have been hit, right? So there are lots of different ways that this skill, developing this skill of just noticing and obeying what your gut is telling you, noticing and watching to see if whatever your imagination delivers is bringing you some useful information. And sometimes it'll just be random because you're practicing and learning. But again, just sitting on a park bench or waiting for your coffee to ding, instead of letting your mind think about the news, right? Or think about, oh, that terrible thing and I can't do anything about that, or, oh, this is what I have to do next and I better get on it, or damn, this floor is dirty and it needs washing. Take a breath and just expand your senses and see what happens. Now, I'll tell you, I use this a lot of times when I take photographs. I was in the kitchen yesterday, and I just had, I was exactly that. I had my coffee in the microwave, and I just sort of reached out with my senses, and in my mind's eye, I saw bees on this particular little group of flowers, and I was able to, and I just stopped what I was doing, and I walked outside, and indeed, in fact, there were 2 bees on this little group of flowers. Now, it didn't surprise me, it didn't shock me. I was just pleased. I said thank you, because I got to go up close and personal and see them and see these bees. So sometimes the photographs that you see me post come from those moments, come from me having this feeling, this experience of there's something there for me to see. And that happens sometimes when I'm out doing something too. I had a thought today that I was going to stop I needed to stop and get something in the store. Well, I didn't go there. I pulled into a completely different place. I sat there for a moment and I thought, something that I've been looking for a long time is here. I have no idea what it is. I walked in the store, a store I haven't been in a year, okay. I walked in the store, I meandered around the aisles for just a moment, and I happened to see these hair clips that for the past couple weeks I've been saying, geez, I wish they still made these, because I haven't seen these for years, and I looked them up on Amazon, and anyway, so they were on my internal radar. But something in that moment, right, told me to stop and walk around in that store, and it was less than 3 minutes when I came across them. Hair clips. I mean, it sounds like a small thing, but again, it had an emotional charge for me. My hair is, as you see, it's long, it's heavy. There are very few hair clips that really hold my hair up well. And boom, there they were for the first time in years. I mean, the last time I bought hair clips like this was probably 10 years ago. So again, it's a small thing, but a cool thing and a useful thing. And if it works well for that kind of little thing, imagine what this skill will do for you when it comes to the bigger things, when it comes to the important or life-changing things, because it can be used there as well. Okay, another place that I'd like you to play, this is the third suggestion I have, is to write down your dreams. And if you don't remember your dreams, it's okay. When you wake, write down whatever little snippet might be there, or write down what you feel as you're waking up. The important thing is to open the line of communication between your waking reality and your dream space, because we do far more than dream when we're asleep. We travel, we assess, we meet people, we do things. Some of us have regular places that we go and regular dream people that we meet up with. So it's very useful. I know people who have developed their dream skill and have had really remarkable results in bringing through energy and information, bringing through healing, bringing through awareness. I know someone who headed off a terrible illness that her doctors didn't think she had, but her dream told her she absolutely did. And she, after 3 doctors, they found it and helped her, and it would have killed her. So there are things like this that your deep body mind knows and will communicate with you if you learn to listen. There's a little motorcycle going by. So to begin that process, it's just about opening yourself to the possibility that to tell your deep mind that you want to remember your dreams, that you're open to the awareness. And honestly, dreams have, this could be a whole conversation in and of itself, but dreams have access to tremendous information, to putting you in contact with the deceased. And again, it's not like you have to be afraid, like, oh my God, I'm going to open up my dream time and start meeting dead people. Like, don't worry about that. If that's what works for you, that will happen. If it doesn't, something different will happen. But even deep insights about how your own awareness can be utilized differently, or what it means, or what certain things mean that are not the meaning making that your mind does, but this deep feeling level of intuition. Okay, so record your dreams and talk about them, right? It works better even if you report them to other people, like we used to do, sitting around the campfire. Think about expanding your senses when you have a moment, just reaching out and see what pops into your imagination, what little memory you have, or what little snippet of music runs through your head. And the third thing is the 7-breath reset. So that's what I'm offering you today, to start that process of reawakening and cultivating your intuition and your instinct. And we'll take this to another level, a deeper level, that looks at a little harder at psychic development and how to open up some of those deeper level skills. But for today, quieting the mind is exactly the right place to start. So I invite you to play with these practices and to let me know what you think and how you feel. And I appreciate those of you who asked me to do this. And again, I'm letting you know I will come back around and I will do some videos on the visitors and non-human beings, and I will also post tonight the details about the tree class, which is coming soon. Thank you for watching. I hope you have a lovely evening and a very safe and pleasurable holiday tomorrow. And let's say thanks to all those during our Memorial Day celebration. Okay, bye now.